welcome back to the Daily Dose with Project Waffle. My name is Philip Steiger at thebest3d.com, and today I want to do something a little bit more designer-ish. Kind of a task maybe for an illustrator. Somebody asked me by email the other day how to create a texture or a picture that contains two textures. One texture on one half and the other texture on the other half. And then a circle across that in which the two textures are shown again but flipped. Okay, so half a circle will show the second texture and the other half will show the first texture. Kind of crisscross. Well, there's a couple of ways to do that. Perhaps a quick way would be to load something like a, let's go to the fill tool, look some fill settings, and basically grab a texture. Now, that's once we have loaded. So there's some patterns here we can choose from. Of course, if you have your own texture, you can just grab that. But let's say we have a brick texture here. We use that. And we use the fill tool not in the regular color mode or in the gradient modes. Instead, we'll fill it. We'll use the fill tool. We'll fill it with a texture. Okay, so let's say we want to just do a pattern fill. Click here, bingo. Then we'll fill it all over. Now we only wanted the left half, so perhaps we can use a selection mask to contain it. We could actually do that on the second half. So left half we'll leave alone as it is, and then we'll just use the selection mask here with the rectangle to alpha. Perhaps something like this here. Just select from the outside, zoom out so you have enough of it. Grab about this much, and then pick a different texture. I don't know, maybe this one. What other textures might be useful here? Ah, so many choices. Here's the one I really like. Ah, let's grab this one. Alright, so this texture. Now we want to fill it in here, but if we do that, of course, well, first of all, we need a fill tool. But, oh, and we do need an alpha channel. I just killed it. Jesus. Let's go back here. Alright, let's go select about this much and then select the fill tool. Now if I fill it in here, it's not going to go far because it's not a plain color anymore. So I do need to give it some tolerance and let it go a little bit further. In case of doubt how far to go, just go full and it will fill it in there. It will be contained to the alpha channel. I mean, the selection mask will make sure that even though the fill could go beyond, it's not actually rendering beyond. Alright, so we do have these two textures now, and now I want to do a circle. Alright, there's a circular tool here, the selection mask for the circle, like this. And I think we would go from the top. No, that's not it. Let's go undo that. From the middle. There, somewhere around there. Maybe we want an oval, maybe we want a circle, whatever you want. And if it's not exactly centered, use the control key and shift it around, drag it around to reposition it where you actually want it. Alrighty. And now the trick is to grab half of this. Well, one thing you could do is take away half of it, right? I mean, if you take a look at this here, store it so you can see what the alpha channel contains. It's this kind of a perfect circle. Well, looks like a perfect circle to me. One thing I'd like to do now is simply go to the rectangle selection again, and this time I'm going to use the right with the shift key. Shift key means add or subtract rather than just replace the whole selection, so modify the existing. And then with the left button you'd be adding to it, something like this. Right. Undo that, that's not what I wanted. With the shift and the right button it will be removing. Okay, and so for instance in this case I'll remove half of that. So now we have only one half, the one over the bricks here. So if we were to grab that selection, store alpha, we see that we now have just half the circle roughly. And that one we can still fill with the same texture. Okay, so let's go back to the fill can, there it is, and fill right in here. Now we just flip it around. The selection mask can be rotated or it can be flipped. In the case of a circle or half circle shape, it's going to result in roughly the same. So what I'll do is I'll use the selection and use flip alpha horizontal. That will flip it to the right side. I still need to shift it around a little bit so that I can find the exact matching connection. Guess I don't have a perfect half circle there. And now I just need to select my original texture again, which was the bricks right here. And go to the fill tool and click in here. And voila! We now have that texture filled in over here on the left side, over here on the right side in the circle, and the other texture across the two. Let's finish up by cleaning this up, clear the alpha so we don't have those marching ants anymore. Let's close that, take a little family photo shoot, and I think that's pretty much it. So that's one way that you can take two textures, fill one in a rectangle on the left side, the other one in a rectangle on the right side. And then do the same thing with semicircles. I bet there's a bunch of other ways to do it. This is just one that came to mind. There's a couple of other things you might want to do with that once you've gotten it this far. One is to expand the dynamic range to get a little bit better depth definition. And then also, of course, play with that all new stylized filter. There's always something really fancy that happens when you experiment with that. See, light it in like that. Perhaps give it a little bit more of a blue greenish color tint. There we go. And then of course the coolest thing is to enable symmetry mode on that. So I shall go to the paint tool, I mean to the drawing, painting, and enable symmetry, more symmetry, and then filter, transform. I just can't get it out.